Chad, they're actually not digital gauges, but what are some of the rules of the can and cannot with gauges in the car?
Well, for instance, it has to be a hard wire. You have to come in from the sensor unit on the engine, whether it's oil pressure, water temperature, whatever it is. It has to be a direct connection to the gauge. You can't run off of a circuit board, and it can't be wireless. So that's some of the things that they put out there for us, because they don't, what NASCAR doesn't want is us to be able to manipulate anything to get an advantage, whether it be traction control or whatever it may be.
Now, Booty, we have these new Spek gauges built by ProParts that several teams are using this year, including, I think you guys have been playing with them a little bit. I know the Hendrick organization, they've been using them here in 2008. Let's explain a little bit about these gauges.
Well, what they are, they're illuminated, of course, and they have much adjustability in it. In other words, to show the driver with colors of what's going on. So if he has a malfunction, if he has pit road speed can be determined by certain colors, and that can be adjustable. But we'll demonstrate here in a second numerous ways in which you can adjust it.
Well, Chad, let's talk about one of the most important gauges when it comes to the race, and that's certainly the tach, because not only do you know the RPM you're turning, but that ever-important pit road speed.
Yeah,
let's talk about how that actually works.
And what you do is, prior to the race, what you'll do is you'll go through and you'll find your rear tire diameter, your final gear ratio, or whatever gear ratio you're planning on being in, typically second gear, and you'll get that pace out. You'll figure out what RPM it is. A lot of racetracks we go to, the mile-and-a-half tracks, for instance, it's about 4,500 RPM. So what we'll do is we'll adjust this, and you can see as the RPM starts to come up.
All right, let me set it right now for you. 4,500, hold on. We're going to set it at pit road speed, blam.
Okay. That's your pit road speed. Okay, so now you see we're well below pit road speed. Well, as Jimmy or any other driver starts to increase his pit road speed, you see he's on yellow right there.
That means you're too slow right there.
Too slow, right. As soon as it gets to green, you're within your window of where you want to be, which won't get you in trouble. But now watch. As you go up just a little bit further, your bright green right there.
That's all you got right there.
A little bit more, bam, right there. You get busted. Just like what happened to us just a couple of weeks ago at Watkins Glen in the Nationwide car. Excuse me, that was a Cup car. But that is a very, very important tool. And what the drivers will do is, under the pace laps, we have the pace cars sitting out there. They run pit road speed. And when they run pit road speed, the driver makes a conscious effort to watch his tach and make sure he's within the realm of reason of where that needs to be. He may say, okay, I'm 4,500 RPM behind the pit road pace car with 3 bars in green. That way he knows exactly where he needs to be in his comfort zone, to where he won't get in trouble.
So, Booty, what I'm seeing here is the driver really does not have to even worry about the numbers. With this progressive lighting system, in the perfect world, what you want is all of the green lights lit up, and that means you're right there on the pit road speed.
And it depends on your tolerance. You allow 5 miles an hour by NASCAR, so let's say pit road speed is 55 miles an hour, and let's say that's 4,500. Well, when you right there, let's say it's 55, you start getting on up here, you're 56, 57. So it's just your threshold of pain and how you want to set it as a driver. But once you see all those green, that's optimization right there. That's your best case scenario.
And that's per math. You have to realize that. That's all mathematically equated, and that's how we set those pre-race.
Right.
When you get behind the pace car, every now and again, things show just a little bit different, whether it be the pace car's tire diameter, maybe a different brand of car. Sometimes that changes, and the math doesn't actually work out. So the drivers really have to pay attention to where that green light is, and so they don't get in trouble.
Now, Booty, like our old mechanical tach, this tach actually has a peak playback, but the good news about these Spek gauges that ProParts has built, you actually have a peak playback on all of the gauges, which will tell you everything that was maximum during the race.
Absolutely. And what happens, you'll go out there, and let's say you want to know how many RPMs you're turning, at the end of the straightaway or whatever. Well, the driver comes in, he's run his lap, he's discussing with us. You hit peak right there, bam. It shows you, 11 grand, that's getting after it. But that's exactly how it works. And you can do these with any of these gauges, from fuel pressure to oil pressure, anything.
Now, of course, the tach's important, but we have a lot of other gauges. And, Chad, last week at Michigan, this technology really saved Tony Eury Jr. in that 88 car.
I got a big problem. The water temp is 260. The oil temp is 300.
So what I'm hearing there is Dale Earnhardt Jr., maybe he was not looking down at his water temperature gauge, but he saw it start to flash in that red.
Absolutely. What happened was, if you notice right here, the water temp, what we can do before we go out on the track, if you press this button right here, you can set your peak, and like we talked about before in the max, so you can set your high threshold, you set your low threshold, and you can change the color. But what happened with Dale Earnhardt Jr., they had set that threshold, let's just say for argument's sake, 240. He's out there running, he gets debris on his grill, he's concentrating on the racetrack. Well, watch this gauge right here. As that water temp starts easing up, 220, 230, boom, 240. He looks down. When he sees this gauge is blinking right here red. So that tells you right there, the engine tuners and everybody else has set that gauge to when they know when the engine is getting ready to pre-detonate or anything else is going to happen, this starts illuminating and he knows his water temp's wrong. If he didn't have this, he probably would have never looked.
So if the